Do you know what to say to another person when someone close to them dies? Or do you, like most people, struggle to come up with the right words of sympathy? Some of the comforting words we use may sound well-intentioned, but to someone who's grieving, they may sound insensitive or even dismissive of their grief. I know most people find it hard to comfort a grieving friend. If you want some help to put your sympathy into words that won't be misinterpreted or make someone cringe, this video got you covered. So what should you avoid when speaking to a bereaved person? First, don't say, "Call me if you need anything." Don't add to their stress by telling them to call you. Offer specific help, and if you say you will do something, make sure you do it. Find what they need and do it. Check on them instead of you waiting for them to check up on you, because they could be so overwhelmed with the loss to even think of reaching out. Second, don't say, "She's in a better place now." There is no upside to death. Don't make assumptions that those who are grieving view the loss in the same way you do. Third, avoid the statement of, "Be strong." This statement might be interpreted to mean that emotional displays after a loss of a loved one imply weakness. Allow people to just mourn in their own way. Fourth, avoid the statement of, "It was a time." This suggests there was a reason for the death. But to those who are grieving, there is never any reason good enough for the loss of their loved one. Fifth, stop looking for a bright side. Some remarks are intended to soothe or lighten the griever's mood. It's a kind gesture, but in reality, it's never welcome. The griever, having lost someone close, is in the dark, and nothing you say is going to cheer them up, especially if your statement is going to begin with, "at least." Statements such as, "At least he died doing what he loved," or "At least it's the child who died and not you. You can always give birth to other children," or "At least you had no kids while divorcing with your husband," or "At least she isn't suffering anymore." Such statements are never helpful at all and comes out as you trying to force them to look at the positive side of the loss when they are actually feeling terrible. Instead, acknowledge that the situation is bad enough and validate their feelings. Don't diminish the loss and don't assume you know how they feel. Lend them a listening ear. 6. Don't force a common experience and try not to make it about you. Avoid sharing your own past grief stories to someone who just lost a loved one. If you have to share, let it be after some reasonable time, and the reason for sharing be to make the other person feel that whatever she is going through is normal considering her circumstances. Sometimes we might think that sharing our own grief stories shows that we understand how the griever feels. Your grief is different from the other person's grief, and what you might lead to is the griever ending up dredging up emotional energy they don't have to comfort you. Instead, try to let them know that you care and you're ready to support them. 7. Be careful with imposing your own religious beliefs. Offering your own beliefs about God and heaven to a non-religious person can quickly go south. If the recipient does not share your beliefs, you're likely to come out as offensive or insensitive to the other person. Unless you're certain that the bereaved shares your faith, avoid the remarks. Some statements like, "She's in a better place," or "God wanted him up in heaven," might get the griever thinking, does that mean this is a bad place and the deceased had to be in a better place? Or we don't need him here on earth, it's God that needs him in heaven? 8th, let them feel. Don't ever tell a grieving person how to feel. This is a time that they may actually need to be vulnerable. They may need to cry on days on end, which is actually normal, considering their current life circumstances. Don't stop a grieving person from crying. Just let them cry. Don't choose words like "stop crying" or "stay strong." Help them acknowledge their feelings and validate them. You can use statements like, "It is normal to feel the way you're feeling, considering your circumstances," or "Whatever you're feeling and whenever you're feeling it, it's okay." These words always sound liberating to the griever. Don't use statements like, "I know exactly how you feel," because truth be told, you don't. Or a statement like, "You'll find a new normal and move on before you know it." Another main statement to avoid includes that of, "God or the deceased wouldn't want you to be sad." This is not about what God or the deceased wants, and it might come out as grief shaming, which is not okay. 9th, avoid projecting into the future. If you're thinking about suggesting that it will get easier, that they will meet somebody else, or time heals all wounds, don't. So what is it that you need to say instead? Acknowledge the pain. Don't minimize or look for a silver lining. Acknowledge their pain and remind them that you're there and will listen. You can also share memories and stories of the deceased. Listen and offer support, and also identify their needs and know when and how to help. Be present and open to the pain they are experiencing. Get comfortable with difficult emotions and affirm that they do not need to hide them or rush them. Some of the few statements that you can use include, "I'm so sorry about your loss. If you ever, and I mean ever, want to talk or just have some company, go out for a walk or coffee or whatever. I'll move heaven and earth just to be there for you." Or, "Your family is in my thoughts or prayers." Or, "I don't know what to say. Just know that I care about you." Or, "Call me anytime you need somebody to talk to and I'll be there." If you have a short moment to interact with the griever, like a funeral, some words you can say are, "I know how much you loved her," or "I wish I had the right words for you," or better still, "I can't imagine what you are going through, but I am here to listen if you need me." If you really care, do something practical to help, ranging from a hug, bringing food, listening when the person wants to talk, or even checking in. Don't offer, just do something. To be fair, knowing the right thing to say to a grieving person does not come naturally. We are neither born with the skill nor taught what to say to a grieving person. Our society generally avoids talking about death and grieving. This video provides you with pointers to guide you on what not to say to a grieving person. Sometimes words are worse than useless. There are words you might say from a good place, but might be misunderstood. If you're struggling with what to say when someone dies, I hope the ideas listed in this video were of help to you. Don't forget to leave your ideas or related stories in the comment section below. Until next week, bye for now.